So, okay, so long-term IVs, our cancer patients, our patients that are on like immunosuppressant drugs for MS, different rheumatoid arthritis. So where's the port usually located on our patients? Okay. Sit right there. Ooh, here's the hand sanitizer. That almost sticked me. So there's two different kinds of ports that a patient can have. One is a standard port, which is round, and one is a port that's triangle in shape called a power port. Okay. So I don't mean to be weird, but I'm gonna flay our patient for a minute. And so this is a standard port, round one. And so it's round, and then the center is able to be cored through. It's like a rubber stopper, kind of. And the needle we use is called a Huber needle, which is, you'll see in a minute, is longer, thicker, and has a bent edge in order to penetrate this port through the skin. Okay? So round ones, standard ports, triangle ones are power ports. Power ports, we're seeing more and more of those because they can withstand large amounts of fluid and dyes, or tufts, and things like that. Plus, they're finding that they last longer in our patients. So you'll know what kind of power port or port they have by feeling if it's round or triangle in shape. Also, they should be carrying identification cards on them, so the patient or their family should be able to tell you. Also, you're going to want to know what size needle they use and gauge. Okay, so the shortest needle usually is a 1-inch needle. For our thinner folks, 1/2 inches is a little bit longer to go through, like thicker adipose tissue. Okay, so it depends on your patient what's the best way to access their port, whether they're sitting in a recliner or laying flat. If your patient is more heavy set patient, it's easier for them laying flat. Okay, the whole goal is to get blood return when we access the port. If you guys are using this mannequin, I want to show you something. So you're not going to get any blood on this patient unless you take this one out. Okay, and we're going to have to take the lid off because the other thing doesn't fit.
So before you go into the class, do things that you can do without, using a sharp.
Okay, like that. All right. So I'm going to set them up on the table, actually. Okay, and I'm going to move them. Throw it over myself. Okay. All right. So you're going to have a central line dressing. You're going to clean off your spot first with soap and water or one of the wipes from the hospital. You're going to need a flush. You're going to need a port needle and a lure lock. Okay, so always look, see if it's the right size needle. So we're going to say 20 gauge 1-inch needle. Okay. Okay.
And then now you can go ahead and
so you always want to inspect your patient's skin too, because if it's red, swollen, has any problems there, it's draining, would we want to access their port? No, because we don't want to put any more germs into their system than they need to have. You also would want to feel it with clean gloves prior to even, especially if it's a new patient that you haven't accessed the port on their port before, to see exactly where it's located. Make sure you have an order to access. Okay, so like I said, lure lock, needle, dressing kit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open this. stuff.
If to see if the right solution for suctioning normal saline or sterile water. Okay? So, in your bag, this is what you have. In it, you have a pair of sterile gloves, you have the suction kit, and then, or the suction catheter, and a little cup that you use to
So you guys will have these on, so I'm not gonna have you wear that mask. So we're gonna set these in a minute. This, you have the 1-inch
pop your pop-up.
edge that you can work with.
The inside of it, you always have a 1-inch margin.
Okay.
Working with anything that requires sterile.
Lay that down. Okay.
Go ahead and put your solution in the cup.
So as long as I'm not turning my back on my patient, I use what space we got, right?
And then our hands are clean. You can put both hands quickly again. You guys realize that it's really hard to put on sterile gloves or any gloves really after the season.
It's so humid in here too.
I feel like if they like blasted the AC in here, it would help a lot.
It would
Yeah.
help so much, wouldn't it? It would help a ton.
I'd rather wear a sweatshirt and like not have my face
Right.
feel cold.
Right?
So, I'll pull this up.
Yeah, we'll have to tell Papa
Okay, so
that
when you're putting on sterile
we've got
gloves,
some humidity issues going on in here, huh? Okay, so we're gonna take your syringe and your needle. Okay. So first thing is we're gonna put this lure lock on the end of this. Okay. So with this, I want you guys to see this needle for a minute, okay? So it has this sheath over the top of it. Sheath, be careful when you guys are working with this because it's, like I said, it's
So this is what
sharp angled needle. Okay,
we're still sterile.
so
I like
I'm gonna,
to swirl mine
I'm not supposed to,
so I have full control of it. And then you attach the suction catheter to the suction machine.
I'm not supposed to
At this
recap
point,
things,
you're
but
going to
for
put sterile.
purposes of showing you, I wanted to
Not sterile salt.
show you that for a minute.
It's not going to be sterile. If you're right-handed, break your left.
Open your clamps.
Your left hand sterile.
You're gonna
So,
flush your line. Now,
tubing,
you can put this whole thing on the 1-inch border
my left
of your
hand is not sterile anymore.
thing here.
So I can go around and maneuver whatever happens from the patient. Which the main thing is if you want to do the
So we're gonna
so
clean
I can go ahead and
our
put my
port area. Okay,
have a place to color it.
so you can either bring your hand around the edges to see where that's at. Okay,
You can move that
first,
this way.
so this
And then
hand's
before
not
you start suctioning, you
still
make sure-
anymore.
make sure
Clean.
your catheter is working, the
Wrap
suction
your
is
thing.
working.
Okay,
How to test that,
so now
going to
you're gonna
run a little bit of this
pick
solution
this up.
catheter.
Okay,
This is what controls the suction. If you include it, you spend the
So you
suction
can
and let
take
it
this
go,
off
it's not going to suction.
right
So how
now,
you'll know that your machine is working,
Okay.
your catheter is working.
and
Let's
we're
do
gonna
some fluid. You'll see
go around the edges of this. Oh, can you kind of hold on to him a minute?
Before you suction your patient, so let's
We're
say
gonna go in the
you
middle.
have all your supplies. What do we need to do first?
So that you can see why they need to be on a
Hyperoxygen it right before
um,
the suction.
in a
This is
recliner or something with a
respiratory
back to the
procedure.
chair.
What do we do? How do you know that the suctioning has been successful?
Oh, it came out. Can you put that back in the?
We'll monitor the cup. We'll listen to their lung sounds before and after. So this patient is crackly, they're breathing, you have to listen to the lung sounds before and after. You also have to touch them for pulse.
Oh, there. See how it's pink? So you guys want to see pink or red, okay? If you don't see pink or red when you insert it, it's not in the right spot, okay? You have to have that,
We have to
okay?
hyperoxygenate the
So there's controversy. Do we flush it now or do we wait?
One of the things that
You can wait because our goal is we don't want any other infection source to get to this. And so you can set that down, get your dressing, okay? When you do this, you don't want this dressing to be over your nipple line.
And that's just going to create or increase the increase.
Bring this
Something else that you can do is with the vented, you can use the
down.
ventilator setting.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay,
So our patient is hypercoordinated, they're sitting up, and we're ready to start. So we've already checked to make sure that our catheter is working, and then go ahead and advance it to the trace for the cannula. You only advance the catheter to the length of the cannula.
okay, so as you do this, we wanna make sure that the edges are
Right? So
intact on the sides. If you guys have a port and the dressing is lifted, that whole dressing has to be redone, okay? How long can a port needle be in? Port needle can be in for up to 7 days or whatever your facility's policy is. If at any time you're working with it and it doesn't have a flush or blood return, that needle has to be changed, okay? Because we can't risk that it's gonna infiltrate into the surrounding tissues, okay? Flush it. If you're not gonna use anything else through it, then you're going to flush it with 5 of heparin then. So 10 of saline, 5 of heparin. If you're gonna hook up antibiotics or fluids or blood or something, just flush it with the saline, okay? But then when your blood or your whatever you've given through it's done, always saline, heparin to keep it patent, okay?
And you said 10 of saline,
5
5
of
of
heparin,
heparin.
yep, okay? Alright, and then this would get taped up out of your patient's way so they don't get it pulled on, okay? And then you're gonna put your time, date, and name on there, okay? Awesome. But not right around the, where it's going in, because you wanna make sure that it doesn't have any problems, okay? So what would we chart about it? Chart size needle, what length, what gauge, how many attempts it took, blood return. You wear a mask, patient wore a mask. I didn't say that. Patient has to wear a mask. If they don't wear a mask, they have to turn their head, and you have to make sure that you document that they didn't wear a mask. Because for legality purposes and stuff, if this site would get infected, we can trace it back to maybe they turned their head talking to you or coughed on the site. Does that make sense? Okay. And then when you go to take it out, we would want to have an order to take it out. Okay. Have an order to take it out. And bring fresh saline, a sterile 2x2, and some tape. Okay. And we'd have to very carefully lift up all the, first flush it, check your blood return. Oh, I'm sorry, heparin too, because we're taking it out. Saline, heparin. Close off your clamp, carefully peel that tegaderm up. And then when you go to take it out, guys, even the Americans don't like the humidity, do they? Some of these are, got some age on them, huh? When you go to take this out, see these little wings on here? Okay, these little wings. You're going to hold this piece underneath down, bring these wings straight up. This is going to enclose your needle, okay? And then put your sterile dressing on there, okay? So for practice purposes, I don't know if you heard me or not, Pile's supposed to be sending out a note, email, that says there's going to be someone in here this evening from like 5 to 8, and then someone in the afternoon here tomorrow. So you guys can start signing up with Colleen, a time to come in and practice. When you guys practice with these, you can, once one's closed off, it goes in the sharps box. But for practice purposes, be very careful, and you can bring it back like that. And then put that little sheath back on, but please be cautious so you don't poke yourselves, okay? Alright, there's like 3 or 4 needles in here to practice with. As you guys are practicing with them and these little wings start breaking off and stuff, just let me know so we can get different needles out for you guys. Okay? Any questions about that? No? Okay. All right. That's it.